Asexual Life. This is supposed to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit that great big subscribe button right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. So today I am reviewing this movie called The Dark Knight Rises. This is a Batman film. So if you like superhero movies, you may very well love this movie. First of all, if you don't want spoilers, please do not watch this video film review because otherwise you'll be greatly disappointed. But if you've already seen the movie or you don't mind spoilers, please continue to watch. So this movie, as you can see, is Batman. There's actually a new Batman out on the cinema, I believe, at the moment, or coming out. I think it's just come out. But as you know, I've got a broken ankle, so I can't go and see that at the moment. But this is The Dark Knight Rises, and if you want to know what it's about, in this movie, this is the second, I believe, in the trilogy, because Batman Begins, I think, was the first one. This is The Dark Knight Rises, and basically, Bruce Wayne, Batman, comes back 8 years later, and he's taken the hit for, when I say taking the hit, it's basically taking the blame for someone's death that wasn't actually his fault. And basically the world hasn't got much crime in it anymore, so he's not really needed that much anymore. And he's basically, you see him injured from like previous years. He's mentally and emotionally broken. He's physically, got walking with a stick. He's really hurt his back and his leg, and he's really in a really bad way, and he really doesn't care about anything anymore, and he's kind of given up hope of a life. The love he had in the beginning has gone. They've died, and so he feels like there's nothing left for him. There's no hope, there's no life. This girl, Rachel, I think it was the love of his life, and she's gone, and now he's lost all hope. And so this movie is very, very interesting because it's actually a movie all about finding yourself again. It's about regaining your identity again. It's about reinventing yourself again, and it's about coming back again. It's about finding a way through the darkness, if you like, which is why it's called The Dark Knight Rises. And it's about wanting to live again, like getting the will to live again. I think a lot of people with depression, mental health difficulties can relate to these types of things, and people who've gone through struggles, in their life, which I'm sure most of us have, because it's kind of like you get knocked down really, really badly. But as Bruce Wayne's dad said when he was alive, the purpose of falling down is so you can get back up again and you can rise stronger than ever before. And so that's the main theme of this movie. And anyway, he comes, what happens is, this maid this person that's supposed to be his maid, you find out she's actually a cat burglar. She turns out to be Catwoman, the famous Catwoman in the Batman series. And she's stolen his mother's pearls out the safe. She disappears. And then she is a prominent feature in this movie. And so he's feeling very sorry for himself. But what happens is this character called Bane comes back and reigns terror on the actual Gotham City. And he basically, because Batman isn't strong anymore, he fights Batman and puts him in this cell. And this cell is like down a big kind of like well type of area. It's down underground anyway, and he has to climb back up out of it in order to be able to save his city with a broken back, because the Bane broke his back. And so this is very very indicative, or very, what shall I say, it's very expressionate of the first time he fell down the well with the bats when his dad is meant to have saved him, or at least you see his dad saving him in this one from the bats as a kid, saying like his dad's not alive, but it's like a vision he has where his dad says the purpose of falling down is to get back up again, and so And so basically that's what he does throughout the movie. He you know, this Catwoman really does fancy him, but he gets involved with this other woman. And the reason I didn't put no sex on this movie is because you can't actually see sex happening, but you can see them semi-naked together. This Batman and this woman. And not Catwoman though, but Catwoman does fancy him, and Catwoman does snog him in the end. So if you're a type of person who hates romance and you hate the fact that, you know, the characters snog in the end, and you've always wanted them to snog, you know, snogging is kissing, passionate kissing, then you probably won't like the ending to that bit. But yeah, but the person who he chooses in this to like sleep with, if you like, so we presume he's had sex with her, is actually the person who turns out to be the real baddie. And that's a really, really big twist in the plot that I wasn't actually expecting. So I really like that plot twist. That's why I said not to watch this if you don't like spoilers, because I was quite shocked by that. There's a lot more to the storyline. There's a backstory to it. It's a League of Shadows. They were both together in the League of Shadows. And basically both are very angry about what's happened in the past. Both are kind of seeking revenge. Very end, that ends up being Robin. So I really loved this movie in that sense, with all the characters in it. I did think it was lacking in action. I thought there was far more storyline going on than action. I thought there could be more special effects. I thought there could be more on the edge of your seat action. I found it was on your edge of your seat, but not enough. It lacked a bit of oomph. Do you know what I mean? It was on the edge of your seat, but not intensely. There could have been a lot more intense action in it, a lot more, I don't know, a lot more surprises in it, I think. And I think it was lacking in terms of surprises, you know. I think it should have had more surprises in it. I think it should have had more action in it. And so I did think that was lacking personally. There was times when I thought, this could be a bit better. I did like the Batmobile, or it's not a car anymore. It's like this flying machine. So I did like that in it. I like the motorbikes in it that kind of twizzle round and twist into various, you know, shapes. Kind of like they go at angles. So when they're like having to go around corners and stuff, they kind of flip over and change their angle. So I did like that type of stuff as well. I thought that was really good. I like Christian Bale playing Batman. I think he's very good as Batman. I like his voice. He's got a really deep, husky voice for Batman. Physique wise, I'm not really into muscly men myself, but physique wise, I think he looks good for the part, because obviously his physique looks like the Batman's. It looks like this, but in the flesh, if you know what I mean. He's not a bad looking guy, I guess. And you know, and so I did like quite a lot of the movie. In terms of stylistic, in terms of like cinema effects and stuff, in terms of like colors, it kind of really is a dark movie. So they purposely did that to add realism to, well, I say realism, it's to make it more of a dark movie, because it's about the Dark Knight Rises, it's about Batman rising. So it's not realistic in terms of, you know, that might not actually happen in that way, but in the sense that it's very dark and brooding. It's kind of, I study media studies A levels at college. It's like a bit like film noir in that. So film noir is when you've got a main, like you've got a main character baddie, and then you've got like a femme fatale. So it's like a leading woman in black, which I kind of think the Catwoman is a bit like that. And then it's a very dark and brooding film. So it would probably come in new age film noir genre. Yeah, so you know, there's quite a lot of the film I liked. I was glad they didn't show the full sex scene, but you know, it does always spoil it when, you know, you've got him in the arms of some woman, especially when quite a lot of the part of the film was to do with the fact he's lost the love of his life, Rachel, in the previous, like, you know, previous film basically. And he was kind of like, you know, really sorry about losing her and loving her. And then you know, he had this woman come over, but he's you know, he's not really been with a woman for 8 years. And so when she comes over, then he starts really passionately kissing her, and she turns out to be the baddie. Like I said, I didn't see that coming at all, but maybe I should have done. But I just, he does start snogging her. And I do understand to a certain extent, because obviously, if you are a person who's into kissing, or in his case, sex, then, if you've been 8 years without a person in your life, then all of a sudden you get some like meant to be warm and caring and that you get on well with, then things can happen, like I'm sure with asexuals even, we do like physical affection, a lot of us, and it can be really difficult if you haven't even been hugged for years. Do you know what I mean? To go without physical contact for years, because a lot of asexuals, we prefer to just have physical contact within a relationship, or for some of us, deep friendship, And so, to go without a hug for years, or in his case, sex, and some people, in my case, kissing, because I love kissing so much, it can feel kind of like you're deprived, and that when you get that opportunity to do that thing, sometimes you just kind of want to go for it, And I think, like I can relate to that, like lately I've been thinking, God, I really wished I had someone to kiss again. I kind of been missing a relationship more in the last week, which is kind of weird, because I was like really adamant I'm not doing dating or relationships anymore. But it's kind of like, I think because I'm getting over the other two people last year, particularly the first one, the Indian guy. I kind of know now that, clearly he wasn't the right guy for me. And my friend and my feelings are fading a lot more for him now. It's kind of like, because I'm a hyper romantic, I don't do the normal stuff. So I don't see a person and feel an acquaintance, then friendship for them, then love feelings, then full blown love or romance. It doesn't work like that. It skips the friendship and acquaintance, and it goes straight to being attracted to that person and having some sort of romantic feelings for them usually. And then, it can get stronger really quickly. And then for me, I have to go backwards. So in order to stop that, cut off from the person, have a least contact, well, no contact's best. And then, a kind of like 8 months usually needs to, that's the average for me, needs to go by before I absolutely stop, or stop having those feelings. And the first guy, it was June last year. So it's kind of been nearly 8 months now, around the 8 month mark. So that's why my feelings are fading for that person, which I'm really glad about. The other person I'm still got to get over, because it's been half of that time. So, but I can really relate to that. So in this movie, when the person obviously hasn't been with anyone romantically for like 8 years, I can kind of understand that. And I think a lot of asexuals, I still read forum threads and stuff where a lot of asexuals feel lonely. They do want someone in their life, they do want a relationship. And I would say strongly that, like, if you want a relationship with another asexual person, usually one person in the relationship's going to have to move. I've said it before and I'll say it again, one of you usually has to move if you're serious about getting a relationship, because the likelihood of you finding the right asexual person on your doorstep is very minimal. We have to fight for kind of a relationship a lot more. In that sense, we have to know what it means to us, and really, go and do something about it if that's what we really want. I've been searching for 7.5 years for my guy, so I gave up last year. But this last week I have thought about an Indian asexual guy so much more again lately. It's just all come flooding back, like, kind of like my soulmate I thought I knew from a previous life, really missed, and stuff like that. So I think movies, they can activate emotions, obviously. They can make you reflect on your own life. That's kind of why I do like watching movies as well, though, is because I think it's important to reflect on your own life. I think it's really important to watch movies, to take time out for you and to relax, which is what I had to do tonight, because you might have read on my posts. I don't know if you read my posts on this channel, because I write a lot of posts now to keep you updated with what's going on. I haven't been able to live stream because I've been doing lots of legal stuff. I can't talk about it online. It's not appropriate to, but not for the foreseeable. Some of it I might never be able to talk to you about. But just know that it's a lot of paperwork, a lot of stuff, a big meeting I had, lots going on, and it can take its toll after a while. And I've just been so busy with that for the majority of last week, and so that was really hard. So you know, for me to watch a movie, this movie tonight was good for me. It helped me to relax and chill. But I also do use these films for reflection. I use them for motivation and reflection. One is I get highly motivated about these type of films, these superhero movies, because it's always about, you know, like when you're down and out, when things are going bad, and you can rise again, rise from the dark in this case, you know. And I think it's a very important message, you know, to have and to know and to abide by and live by, if you like, that you can rise again, that even through all the darkness, the bad times, the difficult times, the treacherous times, the hard times, you can rise again and rebuild yourself and rebuild your life. It's so important. It's not always easy. It doesn't happen overnight like in the movies seem to show it. Although the guy's supposed to have had 8 years, you know, before he's sort of rebuilding his life again. But you know, in terms of the movie, when you watch a movie, it seems really quickly, you know. But in real life, you know, it can take years, months, days, weeks, a lot of time to rebuild your life and to change your life. And you have to, because you have to learn a lot of new skills. You have to upskill your life. You have to do something different. You have to change your ways. You have to look at things in a different manner. You have to see things in a whole new light. And we all evolve at different rates. We all see things at different times. Our journeys are all different. You know, like I will see stuff now that I wouldn't do years ago and understand things on a much deeper level. And then a person who's not got the same experience as me, they might, you know, come to know the stuff I know, but years later. And then the person kind of like with more knowledge in front of me, they know more than I do and wisely, you see. So, you know, this is how it works in life. But the point is that we can always rise again. We can reinvent ourselves. We can get our own identities back again. You know, there's something called disassociation, and it's not very much talked about. And disassociation is often to do with mental health difficulties. And it's when you disassociate from your own identity and from who you are. Now, last year was a very difficult year for me, 2021. It's one of the most difficult years in my life. At the end of 2020 was the first time I'd felt suicidal in 8 years. I'm not going to go on about it because I'm in a much better state of mind than I was now. But last year I developed CPTSD, which is complex post-traumatic stress disorder from something that was going on in my life. And so that has been really, really difficult, you know. And one of the symptoms of that was disassociation from my own identity. And so it took me a long time to get myself back. I didn't recognize myself because I wasn't a depressed person since 8 years prior to that. So 2012 was the last time, well, yeah, 2012 was the last time I was depressed until December 2021. So that's like 9 years difference, you know, rather than 8. It's like 9 years really. And, you know, that was a really hard time in my life, if I can count correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, please do. Um, you know, it was a difficult time in my life and I didn't think that would ever happen again. And so I kind of went back, partly in some ways I went back, well, I went a lot backwards and I went partly back to the way I used to be. And it's a girl I don't recognise anymore because I'm not that girl, but trying to battle with the current person I know to be and the old me, and then trying to get back to the current me. It was really difficult. It was a really struggle. It helped a lot when I left my full-time job behind last year. So I was in a manager's job, but the job made me very, very poorly, which I'm not going to go into. But it made me very, very, very sick. And so in October last year, I left the job. Very well paid job as well. So with no other job to go to, and obviously my ankle break last year, ankle break this year. So that was really brave of me. I've been really proud of myself for being able to get out of that job safely. Being able to still, you know, I have had to go on benefits, but I've finally got my disability recognised, and that took 3 months to apply for that. And so, you know, I've got limited capability for work now, and I'm okay with that because I can still carry on helping asexuals, still doing my books, which is the most important thing to me, you know. And it's good for me to take time out, you know. And anyway, the disassociation, you know, is really difficult. You know, I'm much better now because since the 16th of December, when I decided to go full on for a book publishing company and publish more books and build a book publishing business, I've been so much happier. But over the last like 10 days, I haven't been able to do any work on my Asexual Guide to Sex book because I've been having to deal with legal stuff. I mean, a lot of legal stuff, a lot of difficult stuff. And I had to go to physio. I've had my ankle break. I did, however, go on a podcast, recorded, you know, I was the guest on it, speaking about asexuality, which won't air till April. So I did get to do that last week, a week ago, actually. And so that was really, really good. And so, yeah, but being disassociated from yourself is very difficult. And I think in this film, I would say that Batman is disassociated from themselves. I would say that they don't know who they are anymore. They don't really recognize themselves anymore. They've got no purpose anymore like they used to have, and they kind of feel like they've lost themselves, and they kind of like ended their life, and the whole movie is kind of like redemption and getting it back and getting their identity back and reinventing themselves to a new level as well, because they know that they can get through these difficult times now and have a different life through the difficulties they experienced. You know, so I think there's a lot of stuff in The Dark Knight Rises that you can relate to. I think, you know, the character Batman in and of themselves are very relatable, and it's all about making a comeback, bringing yourself back. But yeah, like disassociation is very difficult. And last year I went through a real identity crisis. It's very hard, and you know, a lot of people who are asexual do have mental health difficulties. I think it's because we're so different. A lot of us have been bullied in our past. A lot of us have been left out. We're very different. We stand out. I mean, I'm very much more stronger than I used to be, because I like standing out. I like being different. I like being asexual. I love being asexual. It's one of the best feelings in the whole entire world. It's beautiful, you know. But you know, like I said, I went from some difficulties, and we all can experience that. One minute our life can be going really well, the next minute it can be boom, you know, and something happens unexpectedly, and it just throws off course. And this is what happened with me. Something like happened really unexpectedly. It was shocking. Didn't expect that to happen, and so you know, it was a difficult time. And so you know, like you know, like I think this film's very good for kind of like seeing that you can redeem your identity, you can get yourself back, you can be who you think you are, and you can be the person you were born to be. You know, in the movie, he has to believe in himself again. He has to believe categorically that he is as good as he used to be, if not better. He has to believe that. That's the only way he can make his comeback. And Alfred, who's like his butler, is putting him down a lot in this film, which I didn't really like. But he's meant to kind of be the conscience, I think, that's the kind of negative voice in Batman's head saying, oh, well, you can't do this anymore. Your body's broken. You're too old now. You're not that type of person anymore. That day's gone and had it. It's had its day. And like I said, I think it's Alfred's supposed to be the negative voice you hear in your head. And we've all had that voice, haven't we? Saying, oh, you can't do this anymore. You're too this, you're too that. Life's changed for you. You're too old. You're too skinny. You're too big. You're too tall. You're too short. You're too this. You're too that. And, you know, it just goes on and on and on. But the whole point is you have to, in the end, believe in yourself. You have to get your strength back. You have to build your strength back up. And you have to keep taking steps forward and building your life back again till you ultimately totally believe in yourself and you're back with your own identity. And this is how I related to the movie, you know, is that you know, um that that you know, this is how I related to this movie, you know. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Love to know what you think. And I'll see you on the next video live stream. Take care. Bye. Do give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. And I look forward to seeing you next video live stream. Take care. Bye.